Cece, and I'm interviewing my manager, Allie, about the 7 habits of being highly effective. So the first question I had for her was, in habit 1, it states being proactive, and it states that proactive people determine how they feel in situations, and on the other side of the spectrum, we have reactive people who really let the environment take hold of their emotions. So my question is, do you think it's important to be proactive or reactive, or both as a manager and leader, and why?
I think it's important to be both because you can only prepare yourself so much for certain situations, and there's always going to be times where you get a customer who's angry and it's a situation you've never been put in, wants to do a return, or there's something damaged and they want their money back but you don't do money back. There's always going to be situations that you can't really prepare yourself for because you never really know what you're going to get in retail. And if you've worked retail long enough, you know you get all types of colorful people. So I think it's kind of important to be both. It's good to be proactive about certain things, about like orders and in terms of buying and the amount of money you have in payroll, but it's also good to be reactive with customers and employees, just because you never know what you're going to get.
Beautiful. Okay, so then the second question has to deal with keeping the end in mind, and this is knowing how you want to be portrayed by people and how you want to come off as people. So the question that I have is, do you think it's important to know who you are and how you want to be portrayed before you become a leader, and why?
Yeah, I think so, because being in a position where you are a leader, you should be someone people can look up to. So I think it's important that you have your head on straight and you know who you are and you know the example you want to set forth, because if you're going to have a team of people looking up to you, hopefully you're going to be setting a good example for them. So I think it's important to have a good idea of who you are and what you stand for and what's right and what's wrong to you.
I agree. The third question has to deal with the 4th habit in the book, and this is like a win-win situation. And in this, there's 6 different paradigms of human reaction. This is win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win, win-win, or no deal. So out of this, do you understand what all those pretty much are?
Yeah.
Okay, so then out of the 6, what one do you try to accomplish when working with employees, or do you use all of them at different times?
I think it kind of depends. Obviously, it's probably best if you can have a win-win situation where your employees are happy and you're happy and your customer is happy, but obviously nothing's perfect, so it doesn't always work out like that. But I think you try to have it so that everyone's happy, and try to, I think as a manager or a leader, try to make it so that at least the people who work for me are happy and that the customers are happy. So I think for me personally, and I think this is just a personal choice, I try to make sure that everyone else is happy before I'm happy. But I think you always try for the best and hope for win-wins, but it obviously doesn't always go like that.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where it's been lose-lose?
Yeah. In working with owners who aren't around a lot, where I have to try to make the call that I think is the best call, but she might not think it's the best call, but she's missing an action. And so yeah, sometimes you have to make decisions that are tough, or in terms of employees, who you end up caring about and build friendships with, and then to be honest, they're not holding up to par with the other girls. So it's hard because there's situations where it's you don't want to let people go, but that's the best decision for the store. So there's always going to be situations where you lose, especially when you're in a position where you hire and fire people and have to make decisions.
Yeah, that's true. And the last question that I have, it has to deal with habit 4, and this is listening and understanding, which I think is really important in a business, or in just anything. But there are 5 different levels of listening, and they're ignoring, pretending, selective listening, attentive listening, and empathetic listening. And I think we all do it, daily life and whatever. But do you use all 5, and when do you use them?
I probably use all 5. Let's see. I try not to ignore people. I try to really listen when they talk to me. Obviously, there's times when you have employees where they all want to go on vacation together at the same time, and it's a little harder for me to listen to that and be patient with it, because it's you have a job and you're paid to be here. So sometimes it's not that I'm ignoring, but it's kind of selective hearing, where it's I'm listening to you and I understand you're young and want to go on vacations, but at the same time, not every employee who works in the store can take off holidays. I try not to pretend, but yeah, selective hearing is kind of what I was just saying. I try to always be attentive and listen to people's needs and concerns and wants and ideas for the store and ways that it can be better. And I try to be empathetic towards people, always with employees and customers. I try to understand it from their side, and I think I probably do that one the most, just trying to put myself in other people's shoes so I can understand the scenario better. But I've worked being a sales associate and being a manager and been a customer, so I think it's easier for me to be empathetic because I kind of understand it all.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So I try to use them all. Yes.
Well, that's all my questions. Thanks for taking the
No
time
problem.
and helping me with my homework.
No problem.
I'm a graduate!